Ministers, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this Iceland-Slovakia business webinar on cooperation in the area of life sciences. My name is Tore Ripsen, and I'm the ambassador of Iceland to Slovakia, and I've had the privilege of working with my colleague, Ambassador Denisa Frilikova, in launching this event. I would like to take this opportunity to thank her colleagues in the Embassy of Slovakia in Oslo, as well as her colleague in the Ministry in Bratislava, and my colleagues at the Foreign Ministry and Business Iceland for their contribution in preparing this event. This is a business webinar. The objective is to provide a platform to connect businesses in Iceland and Slovakia, and for sharing knowledge and experiences in the area of the life sciences. We will therefore, after this seminar, share with participants contact details. We'll send that out with an email to facilitate follow-up and business connections. I would also like to take this opportunity to draw your attention to the EEA grant and the opportunity it provides for connecting businesses between Iceland and Slovakia. I would like to point out especially that there are two upcoming calls under the Trade Innovation and SME Development Program. One call is in June, and the other one, which is a large one, will be in the second half of the year. You can get more information from the research agency in Slovakia, which is the program operator for this EA grant program. You can also contact the national focal point in Bratislava. For the Icelandic participants who want to know more about the EEA grants on the business side, I would advise you to visit heimstorg.is at Business Iceland, and you can also reach out to Brynhildur Georgsdóttir, who runs that website and provides information. And now, without further ado, we want to start this webinar, and I have the privilege and pleasure to ask Mr. Ivan Korsok, the Foreign Minister of Slovakia, to start this event with his opening address. Minister, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon to all of you. Best regards and greetings from Bratislava to all of you, wherever you are and whoever is connected. Mr. State Secretary, Ambassador, ladies and gentlemen, dear participants, it's a great pleasure for me to share with you with a few remarks on the occasion of Iceland-Slovakia Biotech Business webinar. Before I share with you my remarks, I'd like to have two remarks. The first one, as a Slovak Foreign Minister, I want to confirm how much we are interested in further developing our relations between Slovakia and Iceland. There are many areas where we want to move forward in our cooperation, and I was glad to learn from my notes that we are working on the state visit in Slovakia. I think it was envisaged already for this year, but due to pandemic, it was postponed. But I'm very much interested in supporting this exchange on highest political level. Number two, I am very much interested in meeting in person my colleague, Minister Gunderson. We haven't had the opportunity yet to meet because of pandemic. This is a eternal excuse. I hope not that much eternal, but the situation will allow, and we, two of us, as the heads of our diplomacies, can meet. And number two, of course, it is always a good question why a foreign minister is participating or opening this type of event, which is very much focused in this case on biotech. The rationale behind it is very simple, because diplomacy is not anymore the traditional diplomacy of 19th and 20th century, where it was basically an activity for diplomats behind closed doors, where they have been almost exclusively dealing with foreign policy issues. Now I see as a part of my mission, part of a mission of a foreign minister, to be a door opener for businesses, for scientists, for contacts between people, which at the end of the day will benefit our citizens. And this area of economic cooperation, science, or research and development is extremely important for the relationship between our countries, but above all for our economies. And therefore, I, as a foreign minister, this is my intention to be active on that part as well. Now, having said that, my role is to open this event. Therefore, I'd like to follow my remarks as they were prepared, and I'd like to start by saying the obvious, that we live in times of unprecedented global interdependence, where obviously knowledge, innovations, but also diseases and economic downfalls transcend national borders with the speed of light. We see it every day. The butterfly effect works like never before, causing unprecedented benefits along with unforeseen repercussions. We can either condemn it, those repercussions, or we can capitalize on it. I believe all prefer the latter, to capitalize on it. This hopefully once in a generation experience of the COVID-19 pandemic led us the hard way to truly open our eyes and arms to science, research, and innovations. Rightfully, biomedical and biotechnological science is being transformed into a major productive force of society, bringing the need for research, development, innovation, and international cooperation to a completely new level. None can do it alone. We as governments must assist the scientists in the growth for competencies and research capacities by supporting science at home and open doors to allow the flow of new knowledge to promote health, prevent or cure diseases. We need partnership on every level. That also includes public-private partnerships if we want to achieve our goals. Let me stress the obvious, yet again, interests of both foreign ministries in harnessing the business potential in the area of life sciences and in creating opportunities for expanded partnerships between our scientists. Slovakia and Iceland go strong when it comes to history of excellent cooperation in many fields. I alluded to it at the beginning of my appearance here. Health and medical sciences are definitely one of the most prominent ones. We have firm basis for this cooperation starting already at early age, since hundreds of Icelandic students study medicine in Slovakia. Also, many Slovak students and young people are interested in studying and living in Iceland. One of the presenters today, Dr. Killon, is a great example of such an exchange and Slovak-Icelandic connection we are very, very proud of, and we are very proud of him, Mr. Killon, who became a very famous and renowned and recognized person, a scientist. But I'm glad that there are other companies here who will be presenting themselves, and through that, we will give a substance to those intentions that are behind this seminar. Slovakia takes pride in a truly strong biomedical industry. Results of the scientific work of the Slovak biomed and biotech companies benefit many around the globe, not just during the pandemic, but also in other areas of medical research. We too are very glad that our scientists have been instrumental in helping us fight the pandemic, not only in Slovakia, but literally on a global scale. Now we have a great opportunity to enhance the Slovak-Icelandic cooperation on biomed, biotech sciences. The participating companies from both sides have a truly impressive track record. I wish you all every success in this business webinar, and I thank all our ambassador, the Icelandic ambassador, simply everybody who made this event possible. Maybe we are starting something at the end of which, or the result of which, will be very important for not only for Iceland and Slovakia, but for for mankind, if you want, to be a bit pathetic. So thank you so much for having me and giving me this opportunity. And remember, a Slovak foreign minister is a great supporter of Slovak-Icelandic cooperation. Enjoy the event.
Thank you, Minister, and thank you very much for your kind word and your encouraging opening statement. And indeed, we're pleased to have you with us, and we look forward to for fostering further our relations between the two countries. And I'd like now to invite Mr. Martin Eyjolfsson, the Permanent State Secretary, to take the floor now. Thank you.
Thank you, dear Minister Ivan Korsok, speakers and representatives of participation companies. Let me first express sincere thanks to Minister Ivan Korsok for co-sponsoring this event. And let me also explain why I'm sitting here and not my minister, who had to attend a parliamentary session, which we could not control. So you have to make do with me this time around. But he sends his best wishes, and since you, Mr. Minister, mentioned the state visit that you are preparing, we are very much, and my minister is very much looking forward to participating in that visit. Hopefully, it can take place next year. For us, for Iceland, we welcome an event of this kind, for us to be able to connect to the know-how. You mentioned, Mr. Minister, that your scientists in the biotech industry and also scientists in this field have been fighting the pandemic, both in the country and also worldwide. And of course, it's a strength for us to be able to tap into your expertise, and we are really appreciative and grateful for that. You mentioned that we have hundreds of students in this area in your country. I know a couple of them personally, and they are extremely happy with the professionalism in your universities. And I also know that the contacts they keep after they have finalized their studies. And this is, of course, human relations like foreign ministers know and foreign services foster and know better than anyone. These are, of course, the fundamentals of cooperation, because after all, it's people-to-people relations that forge good relations between the countries. So we are really benefiting from your educational system and making use of that every day. We have our trade and business relations are steadily growing. One of our biggest company, Marel, has one of its largest assembly plants in Slovakia. We have also one of our strengths is geothermal energy, the harness of geothermal energy. And you have sizable geothermal resources in Slovakia. And when we have the climate challenge, this is the major issue or major challenge of foreign policy now and will be. So I think there we can, although it's outside of the topic today, but that's an ample opportunity for us to cooperate. We see many potentials and opportunities in cooperating together. In the area of life sciences, besides the students that I mentioned and you mentioned in your speech, we have also, there have been 30 partnership programs under the EA grants, inter alia in the field of life science, and so we have both the, I think we have all the necessary ingredients to bolster our relations. People-to-people contacts, we have funds, we have, of course, the political will that you expressed so clearly, and it's, of course, reciprocated on our side. And I think this seminar is also, maybe we wouldn't have had seminar of this kind if the COVID pandemic hadn't knocked on the door. So maybe that's one of the positive side effects. And I think this is a really good exercise. We have relatively few companies, but we can spend time on each and every one. And so it's my hope that this will be a fruitful event today. And I'm not gonna prolong it with a longer speech. I just want to thank everybody, our embassies, our honorary consul, Business Iceland, Dr. Pavel Cekan, for their valuable contribution to this event, and of course, last but not least, the companies. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Well done, Secretary.
Thank you very much, and I thank both the Minister and the State Secretary again for their inspiring and encouraging opening addresses. And we move now from the formal opening into the second part of this webinar, which are the sectoral presentations. There will be one presentation from each side. We will start with the sectoral presentation from Slovakia. And there we have Dr. Pavel Cekan, the CEO of Multiplex DX, who will do that presentation. I would like to take this opportunity to thank him personally for his contribution to building this seminar. It has the Minister of Slovakia, Foreign Minister, already mentioned that he is familiar with Iceland. Indeed, he's got his PhD here from in chemistry from the University of Iceland. He speaks fluent Icelandic, and apart from being accomplished a scientist and businessman on good moments, he can sing for you good Icelandic songs because he knows them, knows quite many of them, which I understand he learned from an old pension home where he worked to earn his living while he was studying, and where he learned Icelandic. Having said that, Dr. Cekan, please, you have the floor. I have to be severe and remind you and thought that you have 5 to 7 minutes to do your presentation. There you are.
Hello, it's a great pleasure that I can be a sectional speaker of this event. And of course, I will brush my Icelandic and take this opportunity. Góðan daginn Ísland, gaman að sjá ykkur öll, og ég vona að við getum byggt upp sterk tengsl milli slóvakískra og íslenskra fyrirtækja. So I will start with a strong contribution of biomedical research and the biomedical sector in pandemic in Slovakia. So we actually had our own certified PCR tests that we did not only develop for Slovakia, but that they were actually part of many humanitarian aids to Kenya, Serbia, Ukraine, etc. We also have our own medical ventilators that served also abroad. We Slovak scientists were developing vaccine or even treatment against COVID-19. Slovakia has a strong history in biomedical research and research in life sciences. We were self-sufficient as a Czechoslovakia in vaccines, drugs, drugs, antibiotics, etc. However, in 1990s, wild privatization process didn't help much, and we lost our strategic pharma companies, and thus we lost our production of vaccines and drugs, etc. So we had 2 decades of decline in biomedical sector and quite extensive exodus of young scientific talents. However, Slovakia became EU member, and we decided to invest money in biomedical research, and we built at least 4 science parks around Slovakia that are interested in biomedical research or research in life sciences, and where we have completely new health tech, biotech startups, and even successful spin-offs. I have to also mention that we have very successful private diagnostic companies such as Alpha Medical, Medrex, that brought to Slovakia many diagnostic methods, technologies. So we actually keep up all the modern medicine in Slovakia. With the EU money, biomedical research has improved, and even expats has returned from studies abroad, which also helped to grow young scientific talent even in Slovakia. So now we have some successful stories. We have successful biotech startups, biomed startups, even one company is member of Oslo Cancer Cluster. A few companies received EIC Accelerator grant. We have ERC grant holder. So we are keeping up, and we of course want to get better, because Slovakia, and maybe it's not surprising to such people that know our population, Slovakia is among worst countries, for example, fighting cancer. And also, our population, we get older and aging becomes a problem. Thus, when we prepared recovery plan as the Slovak Republic, a great emphasis is on healthcare, especially prevention, diagnostic methods, and treatment for the patients. So we want to improve lives of our people, and we really want to improve healthcare system. Our companies, I believe, are ready for any partnership, any cooperation, especially with Icelandic companies. Iceland is in my heart, and I do believe, as I said in Icelandic in the beginning of my sectional lecture, that I really hope that we can build a strong relationship between biomed, biotech, Slovak and Icelandic companies. And I cross my fingers, and I hope you will have great pitches and lectures.
My apologies, I fell out there for 1 sec. Thank Dr. Second for this presentation. And now we move to the Icelandic sectoral presentation, and that will be Dr. Thor Asperlund, who's a professor at the School of Health Sciences at the University of Iceland. Most of us here in Iceland know him of late, mostly from giving us the prognosis and the predictions on the COVID statistics and modeling, and through him we have learned a lot about statistics and how things are evolving. Thor, you have the floor.
Thank you. Foreign ministers, ambassadors, dear participants and guests, it's an honor to speak here today. I hope I can share some slides. To briefly give my sectoral presentation here in this webinar. This is a great honor, and of course, like the ambassador said, we were pushed into the limelight with when the pandemic started in the beginning of March. And here we see the waves in Iceland. The first wave and the second and the third, and I also put here a comparison with the how the pandemic has evolved in Slovakia. Now it has been very different, a higher rise here, but now we seem to be at a similar place, and hopefully things are in control. Our modeling has evolved. We begin with infectious disease modeling, growth curves, and SIR models. Then we moved into effective reproduction number modeling as a stochastic process. And we gained from cooperation, which is so valuable. And I hope this meeting will also give us more opportunities for cooperation. This was a cooperation with researchers in Finland and the United States. How we can use artificial intelligence to understand the effect of non-pharmaceutical interventions and also to generate recommendations. And this was used in the discussion last year, at least, when we were focused on how to fight the pandemic. This is just giving you a glimpse of the science behind this model, and we have had a great cooperation with the professor, the leader of this project, Risto Mikulainen from Finland. And I'm just showing you this because we appreciate it so much to have this straight contact into this very powerful group of scientists. And they adapted some of the features into the model for Iceland, and we hope to continue this cooperation. Here's just an example. Here's the pandemic in Iceland, the waves, and then the forecast here. And this forecast is based on, keeping things rather strict. I'm not going to go into the details, just give you the idea. Having school may be partially closed, workplaces closed, we can keep the pandemic down. But now we can also have customized interventions. We can choose to keep the schools open. But then we might risk another, maybe a small wave in the fall. But we will see how things will pan out. I briefly show you the forecast from this AI program for Slovakia for comparison. And this forecast is based on that you keep your current NPIs in place. And then, at least what the model says, well, you should keep the pandemic under control, at least through the summer, which I, of course, hope. All this cooperation has led to more understanding of the pandemic and how we should fight it, I think. And but when I looked over the program here today, I see a common theme for today and the future. I see a call for better diagnostic tools, like in cancer, etc., heart disease. I see the need for development of statistical prediction models for diagnostic algorithms. So that's my field, the statistics, biostatistics. I see more integration of artificial intelligence with the life sciences, just as we saw in the COVID pandemic. Can we use AI to help us in making decisions? Use of advanced markers and genetic data with the use of imaging. Prediction of risk, like one of the projects I'm involved here that will be introduced later today in the context of eye disease. But there is more than that, more than prediction of risk. We need to have some action, and that's where the AI will help us to suggest, personalized interventions, treatments, prognosis management. So I see plenty of room and opportunities for cooperation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Thor, and thank you for your presentation. Having completed the sectoral presentations, we will now move towards the company presentations. Here we have 4 companies from Slovakia and 4 companies from Iceland. Each will have 3 to 4 minutes to present themselves. And I encourage you to stay within that limit. And the first speaker on my list is Christian Gunderson, who is the CEO and the co-founder of Arcana Bio. Christian, you have the floor.
Hello, this is actually Daniel Oskarsson. I'm talking instead of Christian for Arcana Bio. Thank you for having me here today. Arcana Bio was founded in 2018, and our original focus was how to help with antimicrobial resistance. I know that we're all having enough to deal with COVID, but AMR is supposed to be an even bigger threat. It's predicted that by 2050, the total cost of dealing with antimicrobial resistance will be above $100 trillion and be killing more people per year than cancer. So basically like a COVID pandemic every year. So what we thought we might be able to tackle was to create better and quicker tests for antimicrobial resistance. And we looked at methodology to do that, and we settled on the LAMP method. So it's the isothermal DNA amplification method, and we started to try to tune it and improve it so we could use it for antimicrobial resistance detection. And we saw that the key vulnerability was the primer design. That method uses a lot of different primers that interact. So we created a fairly extensive software suite to develop primers that work well together for DNA amplification with that method. Of course, when we started to try it out in the laboratory, we found a few things we needed to improve in the general methodology, like the reporter chemistry, sensitivity, specificity. Basically, we had to almost redesign the entire protocol. But we believe that if we can have a detection method like that can be run outside of a laboratory in less than 1 hour, it will have many use cases, not only for pathogen, for things like, for example, COVID and antimicrobial resistance, but also like food pathogens. Since COVID got us a little bit distracted, we did create a COVID test in collaboration with the University Hospital of Iceland. And that test is now in the final clinical trials to see if it can be used on people. And as soon as that step finishes, we're going to continue this work by creating a test for going back to antimicrobial resistance signatures and for food pathogens. So basically, that's a very quick summary, definitely within the 3-minute mark, and I yield my time to the next speaker.
Thank you very much for being so efficient. I move to the next speaker, then Slovakia, Lukas Alner, the CEO of Diagnose.me. You have the floor, sir.
Hello to everyone, and thank you for this opportunity to present today. So if I may, I will also use my screen to show you some slides about what Diagnose.me does. I hope you can see my screen here. So as today is about some international cooperation, and we talk a lot about healthcare and medicine. So Diagnose.me's role is to actually bring this innovation, medical innovation, to people. So we are all about telemedicine, digital health, and as I said, the core service for us is to bring these innovations to people, defying the borders. Very quickly, again, running through the services that we provide, and we actually do provide them currently for more than 2 million people across Central Europe and also other regions, also Asia now. The services are very patient-centric, client-centric, and as I said, those are mainly access to the innovation that may be available within medicine and healthcare in some other country. We specifically concentrate on those parts that may not be part of the typical healthcare within the country where the client or patient resides. So we really focus on the preventative care and also on something that we call some extra care. And within the extra care, there's exactly those type of innovation that again are possibly not locally available. So we see Diagnose Me as a very crucial platform to actually access these advancements that we are also talking about and presenting today. Again, very briefly, just to give you some idea on how it works, we have a network of hospitals, hundreds of hospitals across Europe and United States and actually Asia. We work with hundreds of international specialists, and we are able to connect these with our clients and customers. So these services, we already provide them. We are a company that operates since 2013, and the services are available through our platform. It's a mobile platform, both also a desktop platform, and people can access doctors, even mental health specialists, but also preventative blood tests, genetic tests, and services from the area of personalized medicine. We work with partners. These partners are typically health and insurance companies that take our services and bring them to their customers. These are some examples how these basically virtual clinics, how they operate and how they utilize our services. So again, I won't go to further details to keep my time limit, but again, our main role is to become and to be a platform for those medical innovations and to actually bring them to people that really need it. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Allner, and indeed you were within your time limit. We move towards back to Iceland, and there will be Finnur Einarsson, COO and CFO of Epiendo. Finnur, you have the floor.
I'm just going to share my screen, and I will try to stay within my time limit. Possibly can. So yes, my name is Finnur, and I'm the CFO and COO of Epiendo Pharmaceuticals. What can happen here? Epiendo was founded by Friðrik Garðarsson in 2014, and the company was founded on the back of researches done at the Biomedical Center here at the University of Iceland in the years 2005 to 2010. And we are currently a clinical stage biopharma focused on a high unmet clinical need in COPD, with our lead candidate EP395 currently in phase 1. So what is Epiendo all about? We work with inflammatory diseases of the epithelium, and furthermore diseases which respond to the treatment with macrolide drugs. And these can be diseases of the skin, the gut, or the airway. The focus for EP395 is COPD. COPD is a disease of chronic inflammation caused by smoking and pollution, which kills more than 3 million people every year. There is currently no disease-modifying therapy available, and the current on-market inhaled therapies offer symptomatic relief only. Our approach has been to focus on the role of epithelial integrity, inflammatory pathogenesis. In a normal healthy state, the epithelium acts as a barrier to the external environment to protect the airway, the skin, and the GI tract. However, when the barrier is exposed to allergens or pollution, it can lose its integrity, and inflammation then develops, and the barrier becomes more receptive to further infections, pollution, than allergens. The inflammation continues and becomes a vicious cycle. Macrolides are a well-known class of antibiotics. with well-established efficacy in treating chronic inflammatory disorders. And azithromycin has shown up to 50% reductions in exacerbations or hospitalizations in COPD patients. But its use is restricted because of concerns regarding antimicrobial resistance. Our thesis is that the strong barrier modulating effects that are an important component behind these results. So based around azithromycin, we have designed a portfolio of candidates that maximize this effect of barrier integrity, retain the anti-inflammatory effects, but importantly, have no antibiotic effects. And we refer to this group of molecules as barriolites, and our lead compound EP395 is one of them. The goal of treatment with EP395 is to improve the barrier integrity and thereby reducing the possibility of infection, pollution, and allergens to penetrate the barrier, and thereby promoting resolution to the inflammatory condition. We have shown preclinically that we do not have any antibacterial effects and that we enhance the barrier function. And I'm not going to go into this in any details, but here you can see the anti-inflammatory effects of EP399 in two preclinical models. One is on the left side is an LPS challenge, where we can reduce the inflammation, and the second is an RSV viral challenge, where we managed to reduce the inflammation caused by the virus itself. As mentioned earlier, there's a huge unmet need for effective treatments in COPD, as the majority of patients continue to deteriorate rapidly despite current standard of care. If the exacerbations that drive disease progression could be reduced in frequency and severity, this would improve health, slow progression, and prolong the life of patients. So we have therefore set up a clinical program, starting now with our first in man, and to be continued with studies to investigate anti-inflammatory properties, barrier function, and the effects on exacerbations in a COPD population. And we are now closing the 20 million euro round, and so I will just skip this for our when raising money. So with that said, Epiento is on a mission to transform the prognosis of vulnerable patient populations with this new approach. And thank you so much for your attention and this opportunity to tell you a little bit about Epiento.
Thank you, Finnur. We move back to Slovakia, and there'll be Thomas Semen. My apologies. Semen, the Chief Science Officer of Geneton. You have the floor, sir. I was not very good with your name. I apologize.
No worries. My name is Tomáš Semeš, and thank you for inviting me. And let me present a couple of slides. Can you see my presentation?
Yes.
Yes, it's
okay. So, as I mentioned, my name is Tomáš Semeš, and I'm Chief Science Officer of a company called Geneton. Geneton is a small enterprise founded in 2006 as a university spin-off, and we still have a tight collaboration with Comenius University, and our main focus is in genomics and bioinformatics for health. There are different research projects, research and development projects running. One of the key focuses are cell-free DNAs present in the blood. We do a lot of genome sequencing analysis and interpretation. We are developing bioinformatics tools and solutions. We are taking care of genomics data safety, and we are also focusing on mixed microorganism sample genomics, which is also called metagenomics. And we are heavily in biomedical research too. So in last 13 years, we published more than 60 scientific papers. For 7 years, we were focusing on the topic of cell-free fetal DNA, so the DNA that is present in the maternal circulation. And this is based on the finding of Professor Dennis Lowe in 1997, where he discovered a substantial amount of fetal DNA present in maternal blood. And historically, it was used to detect fetal sex, but later novel tests were developed to detect so-called Down syndrome or trisomy of chromosome 21. And this is also the field that we're focusing on, and we managed to change a topic of one of our papers into an actual clinical test that is running now in more than 8 countries, including Scandinavia. So it's in clinical practice since 2014. It's CE-IVD certified. It's backed by 3 patents and other 3 patent applications, and it's highly accurate in detecting typical chromosomal errors of the babies. Our research is still ongoing, and we now focus on detecting smaller structural variants of the gene of the chromosomes, and we are quite unique in being able to detect rather small aberrations of 3 megabases, which is substantially better than our competition. Detecting those is quite important, as a major study showed. There are almost as many novel CNVs in pregnancies detected as there are trisomy 18s and trisomy 13s together. One of the key problems with structural variants is their interpretation is quite cumbersome and complicated. And for that, we developed a novel interpretation and clinical decision support tool, which is called Genovisio. And it's able to actually give you an answer to the question whether such a structural variant of type CNV is benign or pathogenic. This is very important when you are doing genetic diagnosis. And it's a combination of expert system and our patented AI-based algorithm, which helps you determine 3 times as many aberrations compared to our competition. And the reason why we are focusing on those CNVs or copy number variants is that we are moving into the field of so-called liquid biopsy. And this is basically the analysis of circulating DNA of the tumor in bloodstream of a cancer patient. So tumors are specific for their chromosomal errors, and they can be seen also within the blood. And by having good bioinformatics, you are able to see that in even before the tumor turns into a more advanced state. So we are now focusing on developing a tumor screening method based on this analysis, and also this gives us a tool for tracking the treatment outcome and also to monitoring the patient in the course of his disease. So this is what we see on the left side. There is a profile of a cancer patient. On the right side, there is a normal image of the chromosomes, and this is when the patient underwent a surgery, and we see that his result is a green circle, which means his tumor signal went away completely. So his treatment was fully successful. We have a couple of liquid biopsy-oriented projects. In one of them, we would like to determine if the genetic basis plays a leading role in a high abundance of certain tumors in Slovak population. And we are suspecting Lynch syndrome to be the problem over our nation. We are also focusing on ciphering and deciphering DNA data to make it safer to transfer. And one of our maybe quite interesting topics is our bacteriophage research. So
Mr.
we
Semes,
are.
I have to ask you to conclude.
Yes. So topic of bacteriophage research seems to be a solution for the future of multi-resistant strains of different bacteria. With that, I would like to conclude that we also are focusing on SARS-CoV sequencing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Semes, and apologies for having to shorten your presentation. We stay in Slovakia, and is Peter Killon, the Chief Operating Officer of Multiplex DX, who has the floor now.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity to present. I would like also to share my screen, so hopefully now you are seeing my screen in here. So Multiplex DX is a innovative biotech company working in the field of personalized molecular diagnostics. The company has representation in both US and European markets. Today, when someone gets sick and visits a doctor, is often misdiagnosed, then wrongly treated by sometimes life-threatening chemotherapy, and this all too bad diagnostics. The mission of Multiplex DX in oncology is to eliminate cancer misdiagnosis by creating a reliable, 100% accurate, quantitative, and affordable diagnostic tests. To bring this technology to the market, Multiplex DX has been awarded the prestigious EIC Accelerator grant in the overall budget of 3.5 million euros. Our IP-based solution combine visualization and sequencing technologies to quantify 7 or more cancer markers to give each diagnosis a specific barcode, which will indicate not only the cancer type, but also the duration and personalized treatment for that cancer. As our name suggests, we use multiplexing, so cross-testing and verifying the same results from at least 2 independent sources, that is RNA sequencing and RNA fluorescence in situ hybridization. Further, in our efforts to fight cancer, we are running a project with Dr. Neil Renwick, a pathologist and expert in microRNA-based diagnostics from Queen's University in Canada. The overall aim of this project is to identify and validate a subset of microRNAs, so-called microRNA signatures, that can be used for precise and early diagnosis of pancreatic tumors in tissues and blood. This would allow us to use microRNA biomarkers for non-invasive diagnosis from blood. In 2020, as a response to the global pandemic, Multiplex DX and Slovak researchers have joined forces to develop the first Slovak IVD certified diagnostic PCR test for the detection of SARS-CoV-2. We now offer the SARS-CoV-2 detection in 3 different formats with different level of multiplexing. Furthermore, we have developed a specific qPCR test for the British variant, differential test distinguishing between multiple SARS-CoV-2 lineages, including the novel variants, an example, the UK variant, the South African variant, and the so-called Czechoslovakian variant. For the upcoming fall, a combination of SARS-CoV-2, influenza A and B, hence flu, is also available. The latest addition to our COVID-19 testing portfolio is the Vivid COVID LAMP Direct G testing kit. Our patent-pending detection system is pH independent and allows results interpretation with naked eye without extensive equipment, as can be seen here. Just by changing the color, the operator is able to tell whether the patient is positive or negative. Following the ARTIST family, the kit retains its excellent specificity and sensitivity and a limit of detection of 10 copies per reaction, which is nearly as sensitive as most RT-qPCR tests. We take our social responsibility seriously. This is why we have been involved in several humanitarian activities donating PCR tests where needed. Multiplex DX delivered PCR tests as humanitarian aid to Kenya, Ukraine, Vatican, Serbia, and Montenegro. Multiplex DX is also an official supplier of PCR tests to the government of Slovak Republic and has provided it with more than 765,000 tests so far. We have delivered to the world over 1.2 million PCR tests and have set our footprint in 26 countries. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Killon, for your presentation. And now we come back to Iceland, and it'll be Kjartan Thorsson, the CEO and co-founder of Nordverse. Kjartan, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me here. I'm going to share my screen. So, my name is Kjartan. I'm the CEO and co-founder of the Icelandic-based health tech startup Nordverse Medical Solutions. Our product, ReducePlan.com, is built to fight the opioid crisis by enhancing safe prescription habits. So opioids are prescribed legally due to various valid indications. And as a medical doctor, I have signed many such prescriptions myself. Today, due to COVID-19, the crisis has reached new heights and there seems to be no solution. But if we take a few steps back and ask ourselves, what is the opioid crisis? It's the dramatic increase in the misuse of prescription opioids. The US has the best documented statistics, but Europe has similar trends. So I'm going to use the US statistics. Every year, 10 million Americans misuse prescription opioids with an estimation of $2.5 trillion cost for the US economy. And more importantly, it claims more lives than motor vehicle accidents. And these figures can be extrapolated to European statistic. Every opioid prescription carries a risk. Around 6% of people undergoing surgery become addicted to prescription opioids. And there's a 22% increased risk of becoming an addict for every additional week of opioid use. Opioids are made for temporary use, so after a few months, we develop tolerance and we have to increase our dose. So knowing these facts and the imminent facing threat, what can we do? One of the key tools doctors use to reduce the risk of patients developing addiction is to provide them with tapering plans, which give personalized instructions on how to safely reduce doses. During my work at the hospital, I was struggling to create these plans. And I found it takes doctor on average 10 to 15 minutes to create each plan. And we didn't have the time. And additionally, the plans were not user-friendly and we had no measure on patient compliance. So we built ReducePlan.com, where medical doctors create tapering plans in seconds rather than minutes and provide their patients with more user-friendly tapering plans with the aim of enhancing patient compliance. We focus on prevention rather than putting out fires. ReducePlan has been used to create over 3,000 plans per year since 2019, which is roughly 30% of all tapering plans created in Iceland, and that's all organic growth. We have received grants for approximately $600,000. We just received a $400,000 grant last Friday. And at the moment, ReducePlan has been available without charge in Iceland, and that has helped us gaining traction and develop a superb product from our user feedback. We have already gained user validation through traction and feedback, but additionally, we have initiated clinical research to validate ReducePlan as a tool to reduce the risk of opioid addiction and maintain long-term reduction or cease of opioid use. We have started the development of the ReducePlan app to receive tapering plans and allowing follow-up on compliance and interactivity based on cognitive behavioral science. And we aim to have a MVP ready by the end of the summer. As we finish our clinical research this autumn, we have established partners in the US and Scandinavia, where we will expand our services. And we offer a freemium subscription model, and our target customers are health management organization and other insurance providers. So we save time for their medical doctors. We provide their patients with safer prescriptions, and in turn, we create value for the paying customer and increase revenue from being able to take care of more patients. So we are always open for further partnerships and research opportunities, and I would be more than happy to react to the need of our services in Slovakia. And you can please contact me if you have any further questions or interest in any type of cooperation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kjartan. Now we go to the last speaker from Slovakia, and that will be Gabor Gayepes, the project manager of RDAS. You have the floor.
Hello, good morning. Can you please hear me?
Indeed, we can.
Okay, so
but we cannot see you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
There we are.
There I go. Okay, so I'm going to share my presentation. Yeah. Okay, so dear ladies and gentlemen, my name is Gabor Gyepes. I'm a project manager at RDAS. And first of all, I would like to thank you on behalf of our team for the opportunity to present our company during this webinar. Even more so, as strictly taken, we are not a biotechnology nor a bioengineering company. RDAS is a tech company aiming at creating innovations with an already rich history. The majority of our activities relies in R&D with expertise in ICT and most importantly in microelectronics, where probably our most important unique selling point is that we can do a lot of things on chip. Our excellent team covers from R&D through financial planning up to sales each important position within a well-balanced enterprise. We are aware that nowadays is everything either electronized or computerized, and this fact makes it possible for us to be involved in a wide range of interesting projects from truly a myriad of different industries and applications. We can categorize our fields of interest into 5 groups. These are production and services, security and protection, mobility and transport, energy and resources, and as most relevant with respect to this webinar, healthcare and environment. Within the latter domain, we will focus for the sake of this presentation on medical solutions, telemedicine and AAL, pharmaceutical industry technologies and environment, where I will pinpoint some of our research and development activities. Within a project called XPatch, we have developed and designed with our partners from Europe a wearable patch, a complex biochemical sweat monitor. One of our key areas is the pharma industry, where we have carried out R&D and created solutions for the optimization, reliable data collection, production, transport and storage monitoring, counterfeit and theft prevention, including cloud-based data processing with emphasis on data security and energy efficiency. We have also dealt with several physiological stress indicators and also have proposed and developed several microsensors for the measurement of various electrophysical parameters of the skin, including wireless data collection and software-based data processing. We are currently implementing a project where we are developing a truly innovative way of intragastric pressure sensing, which might significantly reduce the cost of current ways of monitoring. Just recently, our cloud solution has been installed in Poland to complement the sensor network for a pilot action to help and monitor persons suffering from Parkinson's and Alzheimer's disease. Within this field, we have also worked on compact and energy-efficient wireless solutions for the remote monitoring of vital signs. We have proposed solutions for the wireless monitoring of electrophysical parameters using modern communication platforms, and we have also proposed sensors for both EEG and ECG. Health and the environment are closely linked, and therefore we are also dealing with the monitoring and the treatment of water and air, where we have cooperation with our partners on truly modern technologies. Although not directly environment related, we are in a consortium dealing with smart grid efficiency and the decrease of carbon footprint based on innovations for the smart grid. We have contributed by energy monitoring solutions and energy efficient communication and sensor node development. So regarding collaboration, we have an extensive network of partners where there are also R&D groups and teams ready to join consortiums, projects and interesting challenges. We have partners among universities, research organizations, SMEs, but corporates as well, and also manufacturers from all around the world. We have extensive project experience where we have participated in FP7, H2020, Eureka, Excel joint undertaking and others, both on an international and national level. For our work and contribution, we have also received several awards. To sum it up, we are looking forward to new challenges and cooperations, and thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, sir, for your presentation. We now move to the last presentation from the Icelandic side, and that will be Sigurbjörg Jónsdóttir, the CEO of Retinal Risk. Sigurbjörg, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for having me here today. It's a great pleasure to meet you all. I'm going to also share the screen, so bear with me. So we are basically a health tech company founded by world-renowned doctors and scientists, including Professor Aspelund, who spoke before. Our goal is to transform the future of healthcare by promoting personalized care based on individualized risk assessment. Our initial focus is on diabetic eye disease, one of the leading causes of blindness in the world today, which actually can be prevented in over 90% of cases with early detection and timely treatment. So our vision is to prevent millions of people going blind with an evidence-based, personalized, and more cost-effective approach. We have developed a clinically validated solution based on an algorithm that accurately calculates the risk of sight-threatening diabetic eye disease, taking into account the patient's clinical values. The Retinal Risk solution empowers diabetic patients to better understand their condition. It serves doctors as a decision support tool to identify high-risk patients and to provide more personalized care. And it enables healthcare systems to streamline eye screening programs to make them more efficient and cost-effective. We have two products. The first one is the Retinal Risk app.
Sigurbjörg, can I interrupt
Sure.
you? We are not seeing your slide.
You're not seeing the slide. Sorry about that. So are you not seeing anything?
No, it's dark.
It's dark. Oh. Then I'm just gonna put on my Here it is. Sorry. Are you seeing it now?
There we are.
Sorry. Thanks for stopping me actually with this. So I was here on the Retinal Risk app. That empowers the patients to actually calculate their individualized risk and to see which are the key risk factors for each patient. The user can then track the progression of the risk and log eye screening appointments. It's very visual for the patient to actually see how lowering blood sugar and blood pressure can decrease the risk of vision loss and motivates really towards enhanced diabetes control. We believe that every person with diabetes should have the Retinal Risk app at their fingertips. The app has already been downloaded by nearly 1 million individuals in over 175 countries. According to the International Diabetes Federation, there are over 377,000 people living with diabetes in Slovakia. So we would really like to get the app into the hands of all of those patients. We also have an API solution, which is a system-to-system connection meant for hospitals and other healthcare providers. Here we serve as a decision support tool so that doctors can identify high-risk patients. This allows them for a more personalized approach, and also used to actually find those who are high and low risk to streamline the eye screening process. During COVID, we've seen the faster adoption of digital health solutions like Retinal Risk, and Retinal Risk can actually help healthcare providers in dealing with backlogs for eye screening by identifying those who really need to come first. We really are witnessing the rise of digital health and fundamental changes in healthcare. The opportunity here today to actually meet with Slovakian colleagues is very important, and we are always looking for partnerships. So I look forward to hearing from some of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sigurbjörg. Now we come to the end of the company presentation. We are doing pretty good on our timing, slightly over our time, but that is not to be on the fault of the company presentations. We started slightly late, so we are in good order. I would like to, at this point, to hand over the meeting to my colleague in Oslo, Ambassador Denisa Frelikova, to conclude this webinar. You have the floor.
Can we hear each other?
Absolutely.
Hello?
Loud and clear.
Okay, so, because I don't see, do you hear me?
You're good.
Okay, great.
We can see you and we can hear you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Thorir, for so skillfully guiding us through this seminar. And thanks to you and all your and my colleagues for preparing this great webinar. But most importantly, my sincere appreciation to all the participating companies. And I feel truly privileged and honored to participate at this and being able to listen to all these great presentations, even though I have to admit that I have just developed a serious imposter syndrome, feeling so inadequate over the last hour, trying to understand and take in all this great information. So, but I have to say, this past hour gave me a great sense of comfort that with scientists and researchers like we have on both sides, the humankind is in good hands and stands a good chance to make it. So I have to say, what a treat for a layman mind like mine to listen to these inspiring presentations. And I wish I could spend more time around some brilliant, innovative scientific minds like I met today. So I believe it is really safe to conclude that on both sides we have excellent basis for cooperation in the field of science. And I believe this seminar managed to create a much needed and useful platform for cooperation, for forging partnerships and synergies, which are so important, especially today and especially in science. We heard supportive, determined opening statements from our political leaders who reiterate their dedication to science and international cooperation. And as we heard, there is also a variety of tools available to enhance this international cooperation in science. And I think one of the most prominent one that can be featured between Iceland and Slovak company, and that is really relevant to our efforts here, is the EEA financial mechanism, which has proven to be a truly worthy tool for enhancing cooperation in many, many areas over the years. And we are, as a recipient, extremely grateful for that. So as Ambassador Thorir Ibsen said at the beginning, this webinar has been recorded, will be available to you, as well as all the contacts and information about each participant will be made available to everybody so that you can continue to build on this interchange and foster your collaboration, which I honestly wish and hope you will, because it is really hard to ignore the fact that we are all fully dependent on science, and we are fully dependent also in international cooperation. Without science, there is no way we can prosper and thrive. And as my minister said, nobody can do it alone. We all know that. So just by way of conclusion, I want to pay respect to all the scientists and researchers and innovators, and reiterate the fact that we in the Foreign Service, be it in Slovakia or in Iceland, work tirelessly to assist international science and business. And by this, I thank you all for participating. was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Denisa. So this webinar has been brought to a close. Thank you very much. And remember, you'll receive a contact information with email following this. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you all. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.